Okay. So this isn't necessarily crazy quick. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we'll be going over a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that has the diesel powertrain. This also has some aftermarket goodies as well. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Imports for giving me some time with this Sprinter. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get into the video. Under the hood of the Sprinter, we have a 3-liter diesel V6 that goes through a 7-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 188 horsepower and then 325 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go to the front end of the Sprinter, and first off, regular car, Sprinter, just so you guys can kind of get an idea of the size. This thing is massive. But anyways, obviously this one's finished in black, and then we can see that we've got the halogen lights here at the front, the signature Mercedes-Benz star, and then notice this whole front end is plastic, right? Because that's not going to have as much wear and tear as what you get with paint. And so it definitely gives it an interesting look because you've got like the black, right, that's in gloss, and then you've got like all the matte gray from the paint. And yeah, that's pretty much the front end. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 45mm tires wrapped around 16-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. I love how rugged this looks with the off-road tires. And then you guys can see with the wheel design itself, how you have like all of the exposed rivets and everything. Again, it just looks super aggressive and off-roady. This one also does have a lift, so you guys can see that whole setup and everything. I'm not exactly sure how tall this is. If you guys can tell from the video, then just let everyone know in the comment section below. Here's your full side view so you can kind of see that. And again, look how they do the plastic cladding all along the bottom portion. It's like you've got plastic all along the bottom and then everything is painted on the top. So it definitely gives it an interesting aesthetic. But this thing looks so cool with the lift and off-road tires. Wow. Now let's pop here into the back of the Sprinter. So you guys can see there's actually a decent amount of storage space here on the floor, and then obviously the ceiling goes up forever, so you've got tons of space in the vertical direction. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty decent back here. I mean, I'd probably say starting right here all the way to the back, it's probably about almost like 3 feet roughly. So yeah, again, from a storage space perspective, pretty solid. And oh, there's a cargo net too. One door, 2 doors, pretty satisfying. Let's finish things off here in the rear. So again, we've got another Mercedes logo, and then you've got your Sprinter badge, and then this is a 2500, so it's got 2500 badge. And then notice we've got our 4x4 badge here at the bottom to let you know that it's got the 4x4 system. And then I wanted to show you guys underneath here from the rear, you can see the exhaust tip, but kind of everything else with the Sprinter, definitely cool to see. And then something that you will note, the backup camera is at the very top, so the view is pretty interesting. And again, this thing is gigantic. Now here are all the seats in the Sprinter. This literally can seat a small army. And notice that since this is lifted, this is pretty high up, so you do have to kind of like step up quite a bit. But right here, so you guys can see legroom is really solid, and it's pretty much the same with all of the rows. But notice that we've got the 3 seats here, and then I can actually pretty much stand all the way up. I'm 5'11", which is pretty crazy. 3 seats there, and you got 4 seats in the back, and guess what? We can access all of them. So basically all you have to do is just kind of like squeeze along the board right here, and then you can kind of get to the 3rd row via that. And then the 2nd row obviously is super easy to get to. But yeah, it's cool with all the seating. And then you guys can see you've got like the whole system here at the very top with all of the lighting and everything, and also with the venting as well to kind of cool the rear passengers. But yeah, this is a legit bus inside. So interesting to see something like this. But I guess we'll head to the front now. So here's the door panel in the front. Notice that here at the top, we've got all of our window controls, the mirror adjustments, and then you've got your door lock and unlock. The seats are manually adjustable, and just look how like high this, it's like on top of this. The seat's super high up. And then again, they've got this, so it makes getting in and out a little bit easier. Got the pedal layout just down below. Light controls are right here. And notice we have the nice vents that you get in the kind of more upscale Mercedes, which I think that's pretty cool. Even though this is kind of more like a work type van, you still get some nice aspects to it. But there's one more look before we pop in. So here's the steering wheel in the Sprinter, and you guys will notice that there isn't really any nice materials here in the Sprinter, but again, it's supposed to be a work van. And notice this is completely blank on this side of the steering wheel. actually has paddle shifters, pretty interesting. This is for the center stack and then the cruise control. And then you got the windshield wiper / turn signal stalk. And then this is the gear selector, so it just has a little column shifter, which is kind of interesting. You expect it to be large because it's such a large vehicle, but then it's small, so yeah, kind of interesting. But there's a steering wheel. Now here's a center gauge cluster. You can see you've got the RPMs on the right side, speed over on the left side, and then you have that little digital screen which you can scroll through a couple of different menus via that keypad I showed you guys on the steering wheel. Pretty simple, pretty easy to use. And then notice that this does have 64,288 miles on it, and it is hot today. Wow, no wonder I am sweating out of every pore in my body. Now this is kind of our radio area. We've got more vents, which again, these vents are actually really nice. It's surprising to see something like that. Like, it's just, I don't know, I think that's cool. We have an old school radio that comes with this, and down below we have the climate controls from like any other Mercedes, and so it's actually really nice with the controls and all that, and it kind of looks out of place with everything else because everything else is just like utilitarian, like just, you know, your basic stuff. Everything you need with nothing you don't need, and then you've got these random, I don't know, just nice touch points. Definitely weird. You guys saw the stop start button earlier, and then notice we've got the controls right here for the locker, and then the hill climb assist, which is pretty neat. And yeah, oh, we do have the glove box over there with some extra storage, and that's all for that area. So up top here we've got all of the light controls, and look at the pattern here on the headliner. Definitely different. And then the mirror is very important because this is where the backup camera lives its life. So you guys can see that pops up right there in the mirror, and it looks kind of funny with the viewpoint that that has, but I mean, it gets the job done. But other than that, also notice that there's extra storage above the sun visors, and yes, this does have sun visors. No mirror though. Again, that's too much extra. You don't need that. But yeah, it's interesting to see everything here at the top. Now, if you want the most up-to-date pricing on this particular Sprinter, then go check out Harrison Imports website in the description down below. The one thing I will say is these things hold their value amazingly well, and that's because you pretty much have to wait over a year just to get one. But let's take her out and see how she drives. Let's talk about visibility here in the Sprinter before we set off. So first off, visibility over the hood is actually really solid. And again, you're like so far forward that, yeah, it's great. There's through both the mirrors, which are massive, and they show everything. They also have blind spot monitoring. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear. So even though this is a giant cargo van, because of all the windows and everything, it's actually really easy to see out of. And let's set off. So we are setting off here in the diesel Sprinter. The first thing I want to mention is this transmission is very quick. Like with the gear shifts, it's just like instantaneous from gear to gear, which is definitely nice. Aside from that, it actually drives better than I expected. So yes, it does feel like a very large cargo van. There is no hiding that. So it is, you know, pretty top heavy. You definitely feel that. But aside from that, the ride quality on it's actually pretty smooth, and this does have leaf springs in the back end, but it actually feels relatively planted. It doesn't feel like it's kind of bouncing around with the back end, which some vehicles with leaf springs will do that. Aside from that though, like, yeah, I really like how this drives. This is definitely my favorite cargo van ever with all the ones that I've driven. You guys know I haven't reviewed a ton, but I've reviewed a few. I like how this drives. It's very smooth, and the transmission, it's so quick with the gear shifts, and it's so smooth that it just gives you an experience that you don't normally get in a cargo van. And most cargo vans, you're kind of used to it not being this smooth, but also the transmission, you know, kind of being a little bit rough and abrasive. And so this is definitely different. And in terms of that diesel engine, I definitely like how the diesel engine feels. It's got a decent amount of torque. See how the brakes are? Yeah, brakes are good. It's got a decent amount of torque, and so it actually has a pretty good shove. Kind of see how it does here. Yeah, it does a good job. And again, because it's so quick, it can instantly get you to the next gear, get you into peak torque, and yeah, it just helps it move at such a good rate. Gonna go around this super slow because again, we're in a gigantic van, and then we'll just punch it. Okay. So this isn't necessarily crazy quick, but I mean, it definitely moves. Like, it gets up. It's just kind passing power is not really, yeah, it's not really existent. So this feels very similar to, you guys know I had a Prius recently. This feels torquier obviously than the Prius, but it feels like in terms of the acceleration rate, it feels about the same as the Prius. So that's pretty much what you're getting from an acceleration standpoint, is you're getting like Prius levels of acceleration, which again, it's a cargo van, it's not about speed, so it makes sense that it feels that way, but I figured I'd just let you guys know. So other than that, on the highway, it actually rides pretty smooth, which I'm very pleased and impressed with. I thought it would be a lot rougher at higher speeds, but it really isn't. So overall, definitely it's pretty good. So let's sum things up here at the Sprinter. So first off, with the lift and with the tires, this thing looks killer. Definitely has a lot of road presence because, well, first off, it's massive. Second off, whenever I see a Sprinter with lift and tires, I'm like, that thing is cool. Interior wise, I mean, the upholstery in here is nice. Most cargo vans usually only have cloth seats, so the fact this has leather definitely brings it up a little bit. And again, like I said, there's some touch points in this that are pretty nice. And then aside from the interior, from a driving perspective, like I said, transmission, best transmission I've ever seen in a cargo van. It's super quick, it's super smooth, super solid on that. And then ride quality is pretty smooth. Acceleration, it's got tons of low end torque, so this would be really good off-road, which makes sense because it has the lift and tires. On-road, it's not exactly fast, but I mean, it's kind of expected. There's not, I can't really think of any other cargo van that's faster than this, so it's right where it needs to be. But just understand, like, just not a fast vehicle. Overall, this is by far the best cargo van I've ever reviewed. Now that's gonna sum things up for our video on this 2019 Mercedes Sprinter. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Imports for giving me some time with the Sprinter. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in that next video.